Welcome. I'm Richard Hosnow, and I'm the host of the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast and my new YouTube channel. Great to have you on board with the YouTube channel. Well, this is episode 2, and I thought there were certain key things that I needed to make clear about what the heck is a wisdom inspired life, including what the heck is wisdom. But before I get into that, I just want to do a brief reprise of why I'm doing this, because this is a passion of mine, and I want you to know that and what my passion is all about. The mission of this YouTube channel, which is different a little bit than my Wisdom Inspired Life podcast. The mission for this is to inspire people. Inspire. That's a high level of interaction with people. And that's where I'm setting the standard. That's my goal, to maybe inspire you and inspire people worldwide, because that's already happening with the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast. There are listeners in over 70 countries to the podcast, which gets no marketing support. It's just absolutely amazing to me. And it has to be all word of mouth. Okay? So inspire people worldwide to be highly caring and compassionate. Highly caring and compassionate. Compassion is the desire to relieve the suffering of others. That's what this is about. But while doing and achieving that, you will achieve dramatically higher levels of personal happiness. Because if you haven't discovered already in your life, when you serve the needs of others, you are happier than when you selfishly serve only yours. Okay? So that's what this is all about. Well, talk about key things. Wisdom Inspired Life. Keyword is wisdom. What do I mean by wisdom? This is important because there are actually some misconceptions about what that word means. And I'm going to contrast it for you with the word knowledge. Knowledge, very simply, is developed through our 5 senses that then interfaces with the brain. We read a book and we gain knowledge. We watch people do things and we gain knowledge. We listen to an audiobook and we gain knowledge. Okay? It's that simple. Okay? Wisdom is different. And if you look at definitions in the dictionary, one of the definitions you'll often see for the word wisdom in the dictionary is somebody who has a lot of knowledge and a lot of life experience, which suggests you got to be pretty old to be wise. And you don't have to be pretty old to be wise, by the way. And having a lot of knowledge and a lot of life experience is good. I'm not diminishing that in any way, shape, or manner. But it's not wisdom as I'm using the word here. So what do I mean by wisdom? Well, wisdom really goes beyond the brain into consciousness, beyond the brain into deep inner knowing, through the power of intuition. Okay, lots of key things there. Beyond the brain, deep inner knowing through the power of intuition. And you see here a picture of one of my heroes, Albert Einstein. Yeah, great scientist, founder of the field of quantum physics and mechanics and all of that good stuff. But if you study the life and you study the quotes from him, what you will discover is he had a very high spiritual life and a great appreciation for metaphysics. He was a very balanced and extraordinary person. So you see the quote on the screen here. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And the gift is the intuitive mind. Okay, so we're getting to understand a little bit of the word of wisdom, but I've now introduced this other word called intuition. What is that all about? Well, intuition is the source of wisdom. And what you see here on the screen is a definition that I've put together through decades of study of the great wisdom traditions. Everything from Buddha, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, and more. Okay? Here's the definition of intuition. Intuition is the voice of our soul. That's actually exact words from one of the greatest avatars, God-realized beings on planet Earth in the last 100 years. Intuition is the voice of our soul. It is the ability, intuition is the ability to know with certainty, without any knowledge inputs from our senses. Okay? Know something with certainty, with no inputs from our senses, that's pretty different, right? Intuition is the voice of our soul. Our soul is that divine essence, the immortal divine essence that is in all of us. Okay? So the source of wisdom through intuition, it's a pretty good source. And again, you see a quote from Albert Einstein. The only real valuable thing is intuition. I can't argue with that in any way, shape, or manner. I certainly can step back and applaud that with great enthusiasm. Okay? So, how do you access this thing called wisdom? Through developing your intuition. Well, I have good news and bad news for you. We all have the potential for intuition, but it's latent or undeveloped in the vast majority of us. Okay? So you have it, you have the potential for it, but it needs to be developed. And just to be clear, intuition is not gut feel. In my gut, I feel that. No. That's not intuition. Nor is it emotional sensing. Okay? So, what does it require to develop your intuition? The wisdom traditions are in unanimous agreement on this, that intuition requires quieting the mind. Because it is in the quiet of your mind that, and these are my words, you can hear the voice of your intuition. When your mind is quiet, you can hear, you can feel the voice of your intuition. And meditation, by far and away, is the best practice to do that. And you can also do it by being in places that are peaceful and quiet, support it with deeper breathing and releasing. All of that can work with it. But at the heart of this, it's the practice of meditation. And for me, my practice of meditation started decades ago, started with 15 minutes. I said, wonder what this is all about. And it grew to a half hour, and it grew to an hour. And fast forward decades, and today it's a minimum of 2 hours every day, sometimes 3 and 4 hours. If I were told that I have a half an hour to live, I would say goodbye to my family and friends for 15 minutes and spend the last 15 minutes of my life meditating my way out. That's the importance that meditation plays in my life. Having said all that, if you want to develop your meditation practice and you want to develop your ability to access intuition, it requires great patience and commitment. Don't sit down and say, my objective for the week is to meditate for whatever period of time I am, and at the end I'm going to have a loud and clear voice of my intuition. Not probable that that's going to happen. Okay? It really isn't. And developing your intuition is not, the experience of it is not flipping a switch. I don't have it, I have it. No, not that at all. One of the great wisdom traditions actually talks about the 5 different stages of development and expansion of consciousness and things in their intuition. And I share some of that in the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast, some recent episodes that you may want to look at on the topic of intuition, by the way. So that's how you access it. Now, what is this thing called a Wisdom Inspired Life? If I do all this, what's going to happen? Well, here's my personal experience, and amplified a bit by the experience of others. You will achieve, by going down the journey to a wisdom-inspired life, much more love, much more peace. Peace beyond anything, from speaking personally, peace beyond anything that I'd ever previously defined as peace. Wow. I once finished a long meditation session and came out and told my wife I was so peaceful. I said, if somebody developed a pill for this, it would be the bestseller. I mean, it's that deep, abiding level. When you get and develop a wisdom-inspired life, there's more caring, creativity. I work in the field of creativity. I have an innovation business. You can go to Innovate to Grow Experts, i2ge.com. I work in the innovation business. I have Blue Sage Creative. I work in the creative space. Big picture view, truth-telling, better mental and physical health, all of that. And much more intuition, the voice of God guiding your life. Okay? And you'll have much less of anxiety, fear, anger, ego. I mean, one of my affirmations every day is, I let go of my ego. And if you read the great wisdom traditions, you realize that somewhere along the way you're going to have to let go of that ego, as scary as it may seem today. Don't let it be scary. Okay? So, you're going to need some skills to do that. And I shared that with you in the previous episode. And these are some of the initial skills that this YouTube channel on Wisdom Inspired Life is going to help. And it's going to help me. I mean, the adage, and I've shared with you previously that I was a professor at Arizona State University School of Management for 6 years, and I can confirm that one of the best ways to learn something is to teach it. So my sharing and teaching, if you will, these topics and many more with you are also a great learning experience for me. And these are the kinds of skills and abilities that can help you if you are interested in developing a wisdom-inspired life and achieving the kind of mission that I talked about previously. So lots of good stuff here. If you want to learn more about my efforts in a wisdom-inspired life, you can go to my website, My Wisdom Inspired Life. Of course, you can listen to the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast. More on that in a moment. I've written and published 6 books. 2 of them are wisdom-related. You can find out about them on the website, mywisdominspiredlife.com. There's also a brief bio of myself. And if you want to know more, you can just go to LinkedIn, and my business profile is there for you to learn what that's all about. Last words here on what the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast is all about. I've been doing this podcast for some time. There's more than 350 published episodes. Again, most of the episodes, like this YouTube channel, are going to be 10 to 15-minute episodes. The Wisdom Inspired Life podcast offers mostly a wide range of wisdom quotes from people like the Dalai Lama. Oh, is he great? Gary Zukov, Sanaya Roman, early in my journey, Living with Joy. Deepak Chopra, just great. The 4 Agreements, the 24 volumes of the Ageless Wisdom. Now there's something. Paramahansa Yogananda, who's my beloved guru, the founder of the Self-Realization Fellowship. Sogyal Rinpoche, a great Buddhist master who passed a couple of years ago, but was major influence in my life and waking me up. I publish 2 episodes a week right now. All those quotes that I talked to you about there are previous episodes. The current long series of episodes are on Saturday. I share excerpts from Paramahansa Yogananda's comments on the Christian Bible, a set called The Second Coming of Christ, the Resurrection of the Christ Within You. An absolutely amazing series, an amazing book. It made the Christian Bible alive and provocative and inspiring for me for the very first time in my life. Oh, just great. On Sundays, I release an episode with excerpts from the Bhagavad Gita, titled God Talks with Arjuna, the Bhagavad Gita, the Royal Science of Realization. These are probably, at least in my opinion and experience, probably the 2 greatest sources of wisdom available to us today. Paramahansa Yogananda, God realized being for sure, passed in 1952. Just an extraordinary contributions that he has made throughout the course of his life. And just as an aside, that it doesn't have a whole lot of do with anything. I just find this kind of interesting. Steve Jobs, when he passed, on his iPad had only one book. That was The Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. It's interesting in its own right, I guess. Well, relative to the podcast, you can listen to it anywhere. You can listen to any podcast. It's also on my Wisdom Inspired Life website where you can access it, but all the regular places. Okay, so in episode 1, I shared with you a lot of the challenges and needs and the mission that I'm trying to do. Here I've tried to deal with some key words, wisdom and intuition, and what the heck is a wisdom-inspired life if you want to achieve it, and some of the resources that are available to you, the podcast that I've talked about here, and what we're going to be doing on this YouTube channel. Take a deep breath. I really appreciate the opportunity to share all this with you. I look forward to taking this journey with you.